Looking for that perfect game for your gaming console? Video Game Corner is the largest independently owned video gaming store in North Mississippi, located at 1519 Highway 72 in Corinth. We are an authorized limited-run retail store and have a massive collection of retro games and game systems, and also plush toys and collectibles. We also pay top dollar for your used video games. Check them out Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit Video Game Corner in Corinth.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm your host, Airsoft Al, and today we talk about Mass Effect arcs. Now, for those of you who are new to this and you've never heard of this fanfiction, where the fuck have you been? What the fuck are you doing? Link down below, go right from the start. But, ladies and gentlemen, today we talk about the newest arc. Okay, yeah, I know. Moving on, though, the newest arc is, of course, the Cyberunion.
Excuse me, what?
And finally, the lead up to, of course, what the author has stated is going to be one of the best moments in this fanfiction. First Contact War. With whom and what? I don't know. That's up to the author to divulge for us. But, ladies and gentlemen, Cyberunion, this is the Quarian Geth arc. For those of you who don't know who the Quarians are these guys. Those of you who don't know what the Geth are, they're these guys. And for those of you who completely forgot why we enjoy these two factions all that much, it's because of these two people right here. And more or less, good girl Tally.
Just take all my money! Oh, not this soon! Not this soon!
Now that you've been caught up in what the Geth and Quarians are, let's talk about this. And believe me, this is fun. So, starting off with the Quarians. The Quarian arc is more or less about biochemistry, or at least bioaugmentations, i.e. the stuff in Cyberpunk 2077 we hear about and we see about. The Geth, on the other hand, get, of course, augmentation and cybernetics, i.e. Cyberpunk 2077.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
And the author, from the last time we did a Story So Far video talking about this, the author basically came through on his deal and basically made a combination of not only, of course, Cyberpunk 2077 levels of technology, but even the goddamn Matrix and Blade Runner.
Bullshit!
You heard right on that. This motherfucker successfully implemented the Matrix, Blade Runner, and Cyberpunk.
Seriously?
What?
I just heard you get hard.
The fact this amazing son of a bitch was able to do that is something that's in god levels of awesome. Now, the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we get a little bit more into this. It's not just cyberpunk technology and bioaugmentations. No, it is also Eastern philosophy. And when I mean Eastern philosophy, I mean Buddhism. I mean Zen. I mean Qi. I'm talking all the cool stuff from fucking Avatar: The Last Airbender type shit, people. The fact that he was able to do this is what's cool. Now, I'm not going to spoil much of it, because I want you to go read this yourself. All I'm going to say is that the implication and the implementation, basically, all the stuff he was able to combine should not have been able to be combined as well as it did. But yet, the guy did it. And dear Christ above, is it awesome! And that's not even half of it. The Matrix, and yes, that's what it's called. It's called the Matrix, except it has an anagram well, the Matrix is basically an anagram that you're going to have to read for yourself to find out what's about, is basically where those with failing health, small spoiler mind you, those who basically want to help out the Geth, or at least the collective as a whole, can hook into the Matrix. Those with poor health and those who could not take to the bio-augmentations early on in life could actually be raised in the Matrix. And there is a lovely little scene and a lovely little middle finger to the whole blue pill, red pill thing that I absolutely fucking love. I don't know if this was a mistake or what exactly. All I know is I love the whole shift on that dynamic. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Ark mothers and fathers for these two, this motherfucker has Lucy as the Quarian Ark. Yes, that Lucy. Yes, you should start crying in the comments section remembering the song that we all know from Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Because I miss you all the time.
Moving the fuck on, we then of course get the first Emperor and Empress of China and Japan for the Geth Arc. Yeah. And you're thinking, okay, where's this all leading up to? Where it's leading up to is, of course, their versions of fucking agents and goddamn Blade Runners, because they actually serve a legitimate purpose both in and outside the Matrix and in and outside this new Cyberunion. And the Cyberunion has a meaning behind it. Hell! They're now the biggest goddamn economy in Ilium, because they're basically, and this is something he has confirmed, mind you, Ilium is going to be turned into Night City. I don't know if he's going to have himself a Johnny Silverhand character in this, but if he does, dear God above, it's going to be awesome. Moving on, though. We then get to the build-up chapters, and when I say build-up, I mean the build-up to the First Contact War. This guy has basically been teasing yours truly and anyone who talks to him about the First Contact War, and what it actually means, and what it does. And believe me when I say it's gonna be good, because he basically said that he recently finished Halo Reach. So if he's doing a Halo Reach type scenario here for the First Contact War, then oh dear God above. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Now let's talk about the buildup. The buildup is we're seeing the galaxy as a whole. Hell, we even see some named characters. Tali is now going into, of course, school. She's going into schooling. She's learning how to become, of course, something that is mentioned in the Cyberunion arcs, and I want you guys to go read that to find out what she's trying to be. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we see Garrus for the first time. Yes, Garrus. Little boy Garrus in class, not doing schoolwork, and instead reading a Terminator comic.
I couldn't make this shit up. I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. I'm sad that I lack the talent to make this shit up.
You heard right, ladies and gentlemen. Our boy Garrus is reading a Terminator comic. And if you think that wasn't good enough, he has all but confirmed that Garrus is going to be the one-line shooting, movie buff badass. And if that's true, then I'm looking forward to it. But that's not all. Oh no. No. That's not all, ladies and gentlemen. No. Moving forward from here, we then of course get a little bit more with Samara, who is seen as a saint. A holy woman, if you will, a mixture of Mother Teresa and possibly the patron saint of vengeance, depending on how that goes. Which, if you don't know who the patron saint of vengeance is, do a little research and look up that Roman hat guy's video on TikTok. It's actually pretty good. Moving on. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that we see more of the galaxy. And the fact that from the Turian Arcs chapter, we see that all Turian colonies now have orbital defenses to quote-unquote protect themselves from rogue meteorites. And it just so happens to be targeting military Batarian vessels. Yes, military, totally not slaver. And they're claiming that there's a virus in the system that constantly targets them and not anyone else. Yes, completely and utter possible deniability. The Solarians, of course, are assholes. I mean, come on, they're a bunch of eugenic-spewing dumbasses who think they're doing for the greater good type bullshit. And they get their fair share of bashing here for good fucking reason. Outside of Morden, of course, and the, of course, Solarian arc that we've only been told about, but we don't know a lot of. So this should be good going forward, learning about the Solarian arc, possibly in the future during the events of Mass Effect 1. The other thing, though, going forward is that we learn a little more about some of the stuff going on in the galaxy. Hell, we even see what's going on with Eden, well, with Zion. Zion, outside of course a Matrix reference, Zion is a independent Gaian colony. A colony built by Gaians after requesting, of course, to allow it. Now, much like any concerned parent, the galaxy kind of wasn't ready to let them leave the nest, worried that something might happen to them. But they allow it to be built. And, of course, it does get built and is a flourishing colony with many great cultures, much agriculture, much of a lot of things. And we learn more about it through the build-up chapters. The fact of there are many Highland Krugen clans moving in there with their Varen. They're very Varen, basically space sheep. What's next? Space dingoes?
Gotta be careful though, Berta. Spice dingo will eat your spice, baby.
Shut up, Chase. And then we learn about Shepard. Or in this case, we get a hint about Shepard. Because in the non-canon chapters with the Christmas chapter, we learn about Shepard Fedorian, who, of course, is the daughter, or at least a Turian daughter, but we never really were given a hint as to who or what. But we get this now, with the answer of course, the second build-up chapter, which is, mind you, the biggest reveal ever. Her mother was a victim of Solarian experimentation on kidnapped Gaians, many ending up dead, and her basically being impregnated, with a combination of Turian and Gaian DNA. Major Vicarian, who is, of course, again, now we know the dad of this Shepard, because of the last name thing going on, sadly, after being rescued in so many years, has complications after the birth. And her father is now worried. Hell, the Asari counselor, who is pregnant, mind you, is gone into medical seclusion to basically worry for her child and to give birth. Rex, even, outside of a Batarians fucking attacking one of their towns and even burning down Rex's home because you done fucked up, is going on a classic Viking raid against Batarians. But then, as if things couldn't get any worse. Well, I say this, but we do get a nice little scene between some teenagers talking about how the Gaians could have ended up here in the first place, about the Arks. Many believing that it was a religious event, the end of the world, more or less, Judgment Day. Others believe that it was the Bug War. The bugs actually found Earth and fought there, much like the extinction event from Call of Duty Ghost, where the Arks were literally launched as the people on the ground were fighting off the bugs to allow the Arks to launch. Others believe it was a virus that evolved so much that they couldn't be on their planet any longer, and so they left. The Krogan teenager, if you can figure out who the teenagers were, it was the Asari first, the Turian, the Quarian, and now we're getting to the Krogan, who believes that it was a final battle. Ragnarok! The great combat of gods and man in all the realms. Until the bastard gets a brain freeze. Because, of course, his dumbass decided to chug his smoothie down, not realizing that if you drink something very cold, like a smoothie or ice cream, and you chug that sumbitch down, you're gonna get a brain freeze. Dumbass! But the final one, the Gaian, believes it was just mismanagement. Overpopulation, conflicts, wars, things that made their species basically leave the planet. Again, it's a legitimate, well thought out theories. If you haven't read the first chapter, but it's always good to see how the civilizations react and theorize why a species would leave their home planet with arcs. But then we get to the big one. After the birth of Shepherd Fedorian, Major Fedorian gets a call from Saren, from Zion, telling him that Zion is being invaded before the call is cut off via an explosion. And whether or not a new species has come, whether it's actually the bugs that followed them, whether it was some form of something that followed them to this world and started invading, or if it's first contact with another species that decide to invade, or if it's even the Batarians, we don't know until the next chapter begins, with the author basically saying that this is the 7-Day War arc. And I'll say this right now, I'm fucking looking forward to it. And overall, the Cyberunion and the lead-up chapters is something I'm definitely looking forward to. And even when we get to the first game, or even the second game, I look forward to seeing how the galaxy changed drastically during this time period. I really look forward to seeing how things have changed. How much has changed? How much will change? How much will the characters we know and love in the first 3 games have changed? And I'll just say this now, I can't wait to see what happens in the 7-Day War arc. Because 7-Day War usually means symbolism. And if the 7-Day War is anything to go by, be it based off of the actual Israeli 7-Day War, we don't know. But I do implore you, ladies and gentlemen, to go down to the link down below and read this for yourself. Seriously, read this. This is honestly really good. And please, show this guy some support. Comment on his work. Comment on this video. And show, like I said, just show him some love. Legitimately. Anyway, let me know in the comment section down below what you think is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, and what you think is going to be involved in the 7-Day War arc. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airsoft Al, and I shall see all you lovely, lovely people in the next video. Till next time.